We begin at 6 with brand new developments on a track meet incident gone viral.
A local NAACP chapter is also weighing in on what happened to a student athlete getting hit by a baton. There's a good chance you've seen this video of a track meet in Lynchburg between a student from the area and an IC Norcom High School athlete. Now, charges of assault and battery have been filed. A lot to cover in this tonight. 10 on your side's Markeisha Jackson was first to report this locally. She is live at IC Norcom with today's developments. Markeisha?
Aisha and Tom, we got that charge of assault and battery confirmed by the Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney, and Portsmouth NAACP says it's concerning, saying that the viral video that many have seen does not warrant this kind of response.
We have to take care of our children more as a people. We should not have adults attacking young children on either side.
That's what Alaila Everett had to say about the extensive backlash his daughter Alaila has faced after a viral incident brought nationwide attention to the family. In the video, Alaila is seen striking an opponent, Kaylin Tucker, with a baton from behind. Alaila says her opponent was running very close to her. The closeness caused Alaila to lose her balance. In an attempt to regain it, she pumped her arm forward to regain her stride, and that's when Tucker got hit. But for many watching the viral video that shows the incident from the front, they think it was intentional.
We're just seeing one video and it looks bad from that angle.
A certified USA track and field official even slowed down the video to show just how close the two athletes were competing. And for anyone watching it with just the naked eye, it's just too close for anyone outside of these two athletes to call.
Leaving certain things out did so much damage to our family.
The Portsmouth NAACP released this statement in support of both families and called out the racial slurs and death threats that Alaila and her family have received. Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison says a petition for 1 count of assault and battery has been issued. In response to that, Portsmouth NAACP saying, quote, "We are committed collectively to ensuring that the criminal justice system, which we feel is not warranted in this situation, is executed fairly and based on due process."
Now, I did reach back out to the Virginia High School League for any updates on their investigation. They say it is still ongoing. I'll provide much more when we have it. Live in Portsmouth, Markeisha Jackson, 10 on your side.
A lot of people following this story closely. Thank you, Markeisha. Obviously, a lot still to come. We'll post any updates as we get them.
All right. Peace and blessings, ladies and gentlemen. All praises to the Most High. This story is not the typical story that you'll see on this channel, but I felt it necessary to highlight this instance because it does sort of deal with social injustice and the criminalization of young Black people. In this case, it's 2 women. The subject of the case, Alaila Everett, you saw the video. She is the young lady that is accused of purposely striking another athlete who was also Black over the head. And I think they said her name was Caitlin in one of the articles. And I'm going to play that article as well to show the support that Alaila is getting. But also I'm going to play her explanation of the incident. Now, this happened in Lynchburg, Virginia, which is in the foothills of Virginia, home of, the Liberty University, very old town, as they say. And as you heard from the article, charges have now been brought on the young lady for assault and battery. Now, you saw the incident. Many people feel, I guess, on Alaila Everett side that it was done unintentional. However, some people as well feel that it was done purposely. And, me being a former athlete myself, it's hard to tell, but, just looking at the video, and you can go back and watch it, it does not, look good. But also it doesn't look malicious, like she really tried to injure the young lady. Now, and I'm going to play the, once again, the explanation and also some other comments from the NAACP. But the fact that they are trying to bring charges on this young lady, I feel that that is a little bit over the top, a little bit egregious, because once again, it happened, if it was on purpose, in the heat of the moment. Now, that's nothing like you're in a football game and, you just made a tackle, you getting up, somebody pushes you, and then you push them back, and the ref sees you and he calls the foul. Now, we don't see this a lot in track and field, but the lady said that she was, running kind of close to her. And then, when the lady, when the other student ran and passed her, she kind of lost her balance, and, she swung her arm trying to regain balance, according to the narrative. And then, that's when the young lady was hit. Now, granted, in competition, if somebody passes you like that, something might strike up. Not saying that this is the case, but also, the lady was running kind of close, so you can actually see like maybe they brushed up against each other, and when she felt it, or she felt the closeness, she just reacted like, yo, boom. But also, once, and I'm not saying this is the case, but this could bring out something like, the young lady passed and was like, I got you. And you know what I'm saying? And then so she heard that and just, wow, who you picking at? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, once again, if that narrative of her, falling and trying to regain her balance. But because I know most track runners run like this. Now, I've seen some run like this. So, but most of them run, I was watching the young ladies running. They was running like this. That last thing was like that. So, I'm not convicting her. I'm not, this is not, I'm not the judge, jury, and the executioner. But, apparently, she has her explanation. Matter of fact, let me just play this explanation right here so you can hear it from her mouth.
My intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're going off of one angle. After a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video. Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
All right. And so, there's the young lady's, explanation. And, once again, I must admit, just from those angles, it looked like her stride changed. And once again, maybe her stride changed because she lost her balance. But, that arm does go kind of outward, instead of, the normal running that she was. So I'm not going to, once again, going to, convict the young lady, because once again, even if it was intentional, like there's still no need for a charge. Once again, in sports and in competition and in life, we do things, that are not in character, in the spur of the moment. And so we hope, if it was intentional, this is just a spur of the moment thing. But Aaliyah has received a lot of support, and that is from, the Portsmouth, Virginia, NAACP, which she is from, and also the Lynchburg area, NAACP. So this next video is going to show you some of the support that Alaila Everett is receiving, and once again, the outrage of the NAACP over these charges, which they feel are not warranted, and also are not based on the DA's office, but the other student's family. So here is that video.
We continue our coverage of the track meet and baton strike seen around the world. At the center of it all, I.C. Norcom High School senior Alaila Everett. She was at a community rally this evening with Portsmouth NAACP, and our Markeisha Jackson was there too.
The Portsmouth NAACP president attended the rally, doubling down on what he calls unwarranted criminal charges against Everett.
I love y'all.
Everett and her family were surrounded by support Thursday evening, speaking out at a rally organized by community members, all unified with one message.
Stand for Alaila Everett! We stand for Alaila Everett!
First of all, we want to say unequivocally that Alaila is not a criminal and she's not an attacker.
Portsmouth NAACP President James Boyd says it was important for him to attend this rally to discuss more on the statement the NAACP chapter put out in response to the now viral incident. Boyd says the most striking detail from all of the outrage is the fact that Alaila faces an assault and battery charge, a charge he and the Lynchburg NAACP chapter aren't pleased with.
Our Lynchburg NAACP leaders had a meeting this morning with the Lynchburg Commonwealth Attorney. The purpose of that meeting was to go in and advocate that no charges should be levied against Alaila.
He believes the charge of assault and battery did not stem from the office of the Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney, Bethany Harrison, but instead it possibly came from the parents of the other involved athlete, Kaylin Tucker.
So it could have lasting effects on her college admission, could have lasting effects on her scholarship.
And with such widespread reaction to this short video from what was supposed to be a typical track meet, this will have lasting effects on both young athletes. Boyd says the Portsmouth NAACP will continue meeting with the Lynchburg NAACP chapter leaders in the coming days. Markeisha Jackson, 10 on your side.
All right, and so there you see the Portsmouth NAACP leader. The man is, right in, once again, his assertion that, I don't think charges should be levied against her. But however, if you're familiar with Virginia and, their laws, they're gonna get some charges on you. I spent a lot of time in the 7 cities in which Portsmouth is, one of the cities. And, a lot of people talk about Portsmouth on how, people, Portsmouth, I knew some cats from Virginia Beach that, didn't go to Portsmouth or vice versa, But they talked about, how Portsmouth people get down. Portsmouth has a reputation for being rough, So maybe that played a part in it, Alaila being from Portsmouth, running from Portsmouth, and, the Lynchburg people, having that stigma. I don't know, but definitely I don't know where the racial slurs are coming from because both athletes are black. So I don't know who would be calling her. I guess the derogatory statements that a lot of white people or a lot of people in general make about black people when a mistake is made like this and it's exacerbated, it's exacerbated, it's exaggerated to the level of these charges. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I first saw this on Jason Whitlock's show, and he was kind of being hard on the young lady and talking about this is what we get when we don't accept accountability. Now, once again, I can't say for sure, but it didn't look like a natural act of trying to catch her balance. Now, I'm not going to say once again she did it on purpose, but when you're running a race like that, like I said, most people run with their arms like this. Haven't seen. Only time I see people start running like this is after they finish the race and they're relaxed. You know what I'm saying? So for her hand to kind of go out like that, as soon as the girl passed her, possibly making some contact with her, and she was like, don't be running that close to me. I don't know, but that's the only reason I could say, or once again, frustration because you got passed. I don't know. Once again, y'all tell me what y'all think about that video. Slow it down. Do some, there's front angles on one of the videos, which, that didn't make it look any better. But I do think that these charges should not be brought forth against the young lady because like the man said, it could affect her for life. It could affect her scholarships, her chances of admission, and giving her a criminal record, so, but then you have the other part of society was like, hey, you gotta, pay for your actions. If there's any way, there's no way to prove that she intentionally did this, unless you're a physical body movement analyst and you can tell whether something is intentional or did she lose her balance or did her arm just flail out in trying to regain her balance. See, that's something that's all subjective. but you have to make that call. So I don't, it's a hard call for me, but I just, the coincidence of, her losing her balance and, just hitting the lady on the head, that's quite a coincidence at the right time and the right place. And, all those things you have to factor in. As soon as the lady passes her, she loses her balances, then, flails her arm out. Be that as it may, Lynchburg is wrong for this. Lynchburg is definitely wrong for this. There's no charges that should be brought. My heart goes out to the young lady because she's now become, the face of something that, may not be indicative of her character. But like, her father and, her mother said, and people who are standing behind her, that, they're going to, to kind of advocate for her. So these charges will not, put a stain on, her young life. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation in the comments. We'll bring you more information as it emerges. As always, 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings, y'all. Have a blessed day.